there, Janelle Gregory, professional shoe shiner, and I am here today to show you how you can shine your own shoes or boots. So first, obviously you're going to want to get the pair of boots that you want shined, and you're going to want to clean them. There's three things you really need to clean the boots or the shoes. I've got an old cup here that just has some water in it, and then you're going to need some saddle soap. I use Phoebe saddle soap. You can pick up some cheap saddle soap at Walmart, Target, maybe a grocery store. They always have shoe shining stuff at a grocery store. I never got that. And then also a little brush. And you can find these pretty inexpensively as well. So, just open up my can here. And then when you go to shine your shoes or your boots, I just always put my hand in there just to stabilize it. It's easier to do it that way. You're just going to dip the tip of your brush right into the water and then to a little bit of the saddle soap. And then you're going to spread the water, get a little bit of suds onto the boot. We're not taking a bath here, so it doesn't need to be too sudsy. And then just dry it off with an old rag. Alright, now that it's clean, we're going to go ahead and put polish on it. Now there's a couple kinds of polish that you'll generally find. One is kind of a soft, creamy polish, and then the one that I prefer to use is the harder wax. I use Lincoln wax. Lincoln or Kelly are going to be the brands that you'll see most often when you see a shoe shine stand. This is some place that I would not get the cheaper stuff. Getting a good wax can make a big difference. So when you're going to put the wax onto your boots, again we're taking the same old rag, and I take 2 fingers and just like this, and then I kind of twist it around so I have a nice spot where I can get the polish onto the rag. Then we'll just get a little bit of polish on there just like this. And I start to just kind of work the polish into the boot. You can do little circle motions, zigzag, whatever your fancy. I think circle's probably the easiest. And they sell this polish in all sorts of different colors: brown, black, cordovan, which is that kind of maroon color that you'll see a lot. They have dark brown, light brown, all sorts of different things. So once you got your polish onto your boot, you're going to get a brush, and you can get these pretty inexpensively as well. And you're just going to brush that polish into the boot. And you might be noticing that I'm not going and getting polish all over the boot. I'm only doing this bottom portion, and that's generally all that you need done. You can take a look at your particular boot. If you really see a spot that up higher, you can do that, but don't feel intimidated by the boot. Really, it's only that bottom portion that needs to be done. Now, I like to put on a second coat onto the boot. Sometimes you might want to put on even an additional coat past that if they're really scuffed up, which I know that sometimes they can be. Or sometimes I'll put just like an extra coat on the toes. But generally 2 coats will do quite a bit of good. So hopefully you won't have to go much further than that. And then we're going to brush it again. As you might have seen, I have a couple of weights here on the table that are holding my polish, because when you're doing it one hand, because your hand's in the boot, the polish tends to travel as you're trying to get it onto the rag. So, you know, I'm not trying to get a workout for my polish. I'm just using those weights to hold the can of polish down. All right. They're starting to look better already. So now we've got the polish brushed in, we're going to buff them. Now you want to get a good buffing cloth. There's a big difference between like a cheap buffing cloth and like a really nice buffing cloth. Go ahead and spend the money. This will last you a really long time to get a good buffing cloth. Now, sometimes you might see, this is the step where you might have seen people spit on the shoes or boots. I'm not a very good spitter. I would be more of a drooler, so I'm not going to do that. But what you can do is get that same water that you have and just put a little bit on your brush. And then just kind of get the bottom of it, just a little bit of water goes a long ways. And then again, I'm going to take my buffing cloth, and you're just going to kind of go over pretty quickly. Just to get that shine going on the boot like that. And then kind of a fun secret step that my cousin who owns a boot and leather store taught me. And that is this. You might recognize this as, I think these were once a knee high, which I never ever ever wear. I don't like them at all, but I do when I'm shining shoes. And what you do is you just wad this up, and similar to the buffing cloth, you're just going to go over really quickly. And somehow, when you do this, it just brings out that extra shine. So I'm just going to keep going over this. And you may be looking at this, all these steps that we've been doing and thinking, well, can I use this on my suede boots? No. I really don't like suede all that much because it's hard to keep clean. There's not much you can do for it. You can brush it, but that doesn't even work really all that well. So as you can see, we're getting a great shine on here. And then the very last step that I like to do is you can get these like kind of cheap old shining sponges, and then I just do the very toe of the boot or the shoe, because if you do that, somehow it creates this shiny look throughout, and this is going to be the portion of the shoe or the boot that people are going to look at the most. And that's it. Shining your shoes or your boots is just that easy, and I will tell you that this can save you a ton of money because you no longer have to throw out those boots or shoes anymore. You can make them look good as new. You can see the difference there just by shining them. So hope you enjoy. Happy shining!